This is the Real Footy Podcast. Hello and welcome to day 2 of the AFL trade period. I'm Sam McClure. Joining me today is Pete Ryan. Welcome to you, Pete.
Good to be with you, Sam. Second day of the trade period, it gets into a bit of that sort of cruise mode, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Day 2 and 2 trades officially done. So Freo give Liam Reedy, a backup ruckman, picks 53 and 71 to the Blues for 50 and 68. And Gold Coast give Malcolm Roses Jr. and pick 62 to Sydney for 51 and 69. So some fringe players moving clubs.
Fringe players for not very much. Liam Reedy, Fremantle ruckman, stuck behind Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson.
Yep.
Played a good season in the Waffle. Has played some pretty good football at that state league level. No world beater, but certainly a depth player for Mark Pitney back up, given that they've lost Tom de Koning.
Yep.
And Malcolm Rose Jr. never really broke through once Damien Hardwick arrived at Gold Coast. Didn't play much footy. Small forward, goes into Sydney. They haven't given up much for him. If he can do it, good luck to him. If he doesn't, he'll be quickly forgotten. No disrespect.
No, I think that's absolutely fair. And there seems to be a few minor updates with some of the bigger names. Clayton Oliver, Zach Merrett and Charlie Curnow are really the 3 big watches at the moment, Pete.
Yeah, Charlie Curnow. Sydney are the ones that are all over him.
Yep.
Obviously just declared him as their priority. You'd probably be interested to ask you, Sam, what do you think they will need to give up to get him, and what do you think they are potentially hoping to do that will turn Carlton's head?
It's funny because Sydney have always been such an attractive club, and they've always been very gifted at attracting players for many reasons. One being it's great living in Sydney, and 2 being they've been an excellent club for the last 2 decades. The thing about Sydney, though, Pete, is that historically they're not great to deal with when it comes to trades.
Yep.
And one of the big reasons there is they don't like giving up much.
No.
Now, if you're a Sydney fan, that's exactly what you want. But this does feel a little like Joe Danaher from a few years ago, where they kind of, the 2 parties came together. It felt like it was, oh, yeah, let's do this. How good. Yeah, Charlie Curnow to the Swans, great.
Yep.
But with the Danaher one, they didn't satisfy Essendon, and they ended up keeping him, and he left a year later. And I think they've got to be a little bit careful here that they don't satisfy Carlton enough, because they've just brought in a new head of footy, Chris Davies, who's been around the traps a while now. And I think there's a fair chance that if it's, guys, if you're offering us 1 pick and, Will Hayward, I mean, seriously, come up with something better.
And Port Adelaide's, which Chris Davies come from, has had a lot of dealing in this space for a lot of years when he's been there, and they've been pretty rigid when it comes to deals. They don't get knocked over easily with Chris Davies in the chair. The thing I would think is Carlton, and you follow Carlton closely, say Sydney offered 2 first-round picks, would that be enough?
I don't think so, no.
And
I think that would be a hard sell to Carlton members.
Yep. So you'd need a player, but getting in a player who's a B grade or A minus doesn't, because Charlie Curnow is a star.
Yep.
So it's going to be a hard sell to Carlton supporters anyway.
I just wonder if Robbie D'Orazio and Paul Connors, the management team of Charlie Curnow, will try to get a 3-way deal involved here, or a third party. So we're talking about sells. Like if Carlton were to get, say, a pick, Will Hayward and Ben Ainsworth, 2 starting forward 6 players.
Yep.
Does that become an easier sell to Carlton members? I'm not sure. I mean, it's certainly better than just picks, isn't it?
Absolutely. And they've got something like tangible they can actually look to.
Yep.
They've also got, it's one of those ones where Carlton will be standing there if they trade him out for that, and they've declared that he's not trading unless they get something that's really
big.
Yeah, going to knock their socks off, which they're probably not going to get off Sydney, let's face it. They're going to have to at least deal with what we're saying.
So here comes the age-old question, Pete. And Melbourne had to ask this of themselves 12 months ago. What's the risk and reward of keeping a player as talented as Charlie Curnow, but that may have a smell under his nose if he's forced to come back?
I think the risk is very high, actually. I think you try and...
Did you think that with Petrarca and Oliver last year too?
Yeah, I thought Geelong would have been mad to get Oliver, but I also thought Melbourne should have got rid of him.
Yeah.
Those 2 things can be...
coexist.
Yeah. And I think Carlton Curnow's been a great player, 2-time Coleman medalist. Obviously, we know his best is as good as any forward we've seen in the last decade. It's just a matter of whether they can get that consistently out of him at Carlton, which they haven't managed to do.
No, he didn't have a great year.
No.
Mind you, a lot of his teammates were in the similar boat.
And I reckon you don't worry about what he might do at Sydney. You worry about what you can actually build from here. Yep. So if you get rid of him and you get something really good, Michael Voss might think, oh, it's a bit rough. I've got 1 year left in my contract. Well, bad luck. It's for the club. So it's a matter of finding a solution to that. Ben Ainsworth, Haywood, and a couple of picks doesn't quite do it for me, but...
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Two guys are, about 28? They're from the same draft, I think.
Yeah. They're good players, but they're not super players.
No, Haywood's best return's 41 goals. Ainsworth's never kicked more than 25 in a year as a small forward.
Yeah, Haywood's, in my view, a better player than Ainsworth.
I think that's right.
But the other thing is Geelong's probably sitting there in the corner thinking, can a miracle happen? They've got Rowan Marshall on their plate, which I think St Kilda want, at minimum, a future first-round pick.
Yep.
And Geelong would want to give away a pick in this weaker draft, this year's
which could end up being, pick 25 or something like that.
Which I don't know if that's enough either. So there's a bit of haggling to go there. And then the miracle of them getting Curnow,
So
good luck with that one.
Yeah. So Carlton have been staunch, I think was the word I would use, that Curnow won't be traded. If they're being staunch, Essendon are being resolute that Zach Merrett won't be traded.
Yeah, I don't think Zach Merrett will be traded.
Really?
No.
See, I do.
Yeah.
I think it gets
Where's your path?
Hawthorn.
Yeah, obviously Hawthorn's a destination, but what's the path to get him to Hawthorn?
This year's first round pick?
Yeah, pick 8 or 10 or whatever it'll end up being.
Next year's first round pick?
Yeah, pick 18.
Yep. And a player.
Cam McKenzie?
Or Mitch Lewis?
No, you're not doing it for Mitch Lewis. I mean, Mitch Lewis is okay, but...
I think he's a pretty bloody good forward at his best. He's had some injuries.
He's absolutely a good forward at his best, but how often's he been at his best?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair question. Again, like we talk about the risk and reward of a player that doesn't want to be there. You can't have... So the mess that would be Zach Merrett coming back to that club, for me, would be too much to clean up, because you'd have to take the captaincy off him, which...
Wow, he's relinquished the captaincy. There's no way he can be captain.
No, I know that, but I'm saying that
well, he'd have to offer the captaincy
would be a messy situation for members.
Yeah.
Then you have to ask, well, is he going to be the same player as what he was if he's... if
he's played in position, he has to be played in the midfield. Don't ever think about putting him in the halfback flank.
Agreed.
I think you could do it. It would be messy and it'll be a bit controversial, but if Hawthorn can't come up with I don't know about 2 first-round picks. I mean, Essendon have already got pick 5 and 6.
That's why you offer up the player as well.
Yeah. Anyway, I reckon they'll have a throw at the stumps late, Hawthorn. That'd be my gut feel.
Do you think that he will tell Essendon he wants to be traded? This is what he's wrestling with at the moment. Him and his management are thinking, do we go to Essendon and say, hey, we'd like to officially request a trade to Hawthorn?
Yeah, I think you should.
Put the club on the back foot? Or do you... I agree with you. I think that he needs to do that.
Yep.
If he's actually going to...
want to do that.
If he's actually going to try to get out, he needs to go out on a limb, I think.
Yep.
If he's going to try to do it on the quiet, I think he's much less of a chance of getting it done.
Yeah. Well, he has to resolve that in his own mind.
Yeah. And also, that's why you pay managers like Tom Petroro to represent you.
Yeah.
Because these are important moments.
Yeah.
It's not just doing contract
I'd say
extensions.
Tom would be weighing up if it's not going to happen, what's the point of putting yourself out there? Because I'm not sure that Essendon's going to change their view if he asks for a trade officially, are they?
No, I would think that Essendon would release a statement saying Zach Merrett has today informed the club of his desire to be traded to Hawthorn. Yeah. As we've previously stated, we reminded Zach today that he's our captain, he's contracted, and he won't be traded under any circumstances. Yeah. So you don't have to change your narrative, but what it does is it opens up the door for Hawthorn to say, okay, well,
that's
knock,
true.
knock. Essendon, we've seen the statement. He wants to come to us.
Yep.
Let's have an opening conversation.
No, that is true. But Hawthorn would want to come up with something that is a good player.
He's a very good player.
Yeah.
He's a star.
You'd want to actually cough up a better player, and this is no disrespect to Mitch Lewis, but a better player than Mitch Lewis.
Yep. I think 2 first-round picks and Mitch Lewis isn't the worst deal.
No, fair enough. You'd consider it, yeah.
Clayton Oliver toured GWS facilities.
Yeah, he's been up in Sydney. It was fortuitous that he happened to be going up to Sydney last Friday or Thursday when it became clear that Melbourne were putting him on the trade table.
Yep.
He's gone up there. He's sat on a boat he's had the flotilla of, Giants flying past and saying, good on you, Clayton, welcome. And he is feeling welcome. And today he went and toured the facilities, did a medical. Collingwood's up there to meet him as well. Justin Leppish is going up there, or I think he might be up there already, to meet with Clayton and go through a process there. I think the Giants are in the box seat to get Oliver to say, I want to go to the Giants. And then it's a matter of how much Melbourne are prepared to stump up of his salary, I'd say, and what sort of draft return they'd get for him. Because I don't think the Giants have got a huge amount of room in their salary cap, but they'd be able to draft. They'd be able to give over picks.
He's on around 1.3.
Yeah.
So if you would GWS, you want Melbourne to pay 500 of that at least, you would think.
Yeah, absolutely you would. And then you get in a player that's... his upsides, we've seen what he can do. It's just whether he can bounce back to that.
It'd be a big win for the GB, the Ginger Brigade, if Oliver went to GWS.
Not if you're Justin Leppish.
No, that's true. But to have Tom Green and Clayton Oliver in the same midfield, that would be a big win for all pale people out there.
That worries me, Tom Green, because Tom Green
SPF
is one of my favourite players in the league.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, what is it with his big body mids and red hair? Matt Rao?
Well, there you go. Brownlow medals.
Yeah.
They're in vogue.
They are in vogue, there's no doubt, unless you're Nicole Kidman.
Oh.
She's not in vogue.
Drive by for Nicole.
No, I feel for Nicole. I love Nicole.
Unfair, given everything it's
I know, it's sad, but she's a bit removed from us.
Do you think that if they got Oliver, do you think 2 inside balls is too many?
It just doesn't on face value make a lot of sense to me. But
Green's pretty agile though.
Yeah.
Clary less so, I guess, now. They're such a good run and carry team on the outside, though. I don't mind.
No, I don't mind that.
Because they can get slaughtered in the middle when teams get on a run against them. We saw that in the final against Hawthorn, didn't we?
That is absolutely true. And it would be able to give Tom Green some support. And
you can't trust Cornelio and Kelly now.
No, well, Kelly's hips causing him all sorts of problems. Not that they were
similar players, but you know what I mean.
Cornelio, definitely. he's had a good career, a bit up and down at times, but he's obviously a good player. But he's dropped off as he's get older. His influence is not as big. And
speaking of demons, so Petrarca, any further conversations between Gold Coast and Melbourne?
They actually met on Tuesday and had a cordial discussion, but Melbourne made it clear that they were interested in Bailey Humphrey in return for Christian Petrarca, and Gold Coast made it clear that that was not going to happen.
Yep. So I think, based on the people that I've spoken to, if Carlton are staunch on Curnow and Essendon are resolute on Merrett... I would basically just put a permanent marker through Bailey Humphrey's name.
Yeah.
Like Gold Coast are that adamant.
They've actually built...
There is no circumstance in which they would even entertain.
They've built a moat around the Humphrey Castle, and they've got guards on.
Yeah, there's no way they're trading.
And nor should they.
But smart of Melbourne to ask, that's fair enough.
No issue with, and there was no issue with Melbourne asking the Gold Coast. So this pick 7's going to be sitting there because Sam Flanders is St Kilda are going to give up pick 7.
Well, I just find one of the more remarkable things. I know it's not a strong draft, but Sam Flanders has become essentially Gary Ablett in the last 3 days. It's amazing. Sam Flanders is an okay player. Finished top 5 in the
he's
BNF
not an okay
last.
player. He's a very good player.
Okay, so I'll meet you in the middle. Sam Flanders is a good player.
Yeah. No, that's fair. He's
pick
7. It's not pick 7.
No.
But good on him.
He's 24.
Yeah.
So I think Ross Lyon and Stephen Silvani and Gubby Allen will be sitting there thinking, we're getting a known quantity.
Yep.
We don't want pick 7. We haven't identified someone in the draft that we want.
Yep.
Get him in. He'll be our starting midfield.
That's 100% correct.
And suddenly St Kilda's starting midfield in round 1 next year, all things going well, will be De Koning, Naz, Windhager and Flanders.
Yeah, that's right. And Jack Steele may or may not be there.
I think Jack Steele will go.
Yeah. I wonder if Essendon will have a sniff
I think it'll be Essendon if and when Hawks come for Merrett.
Yeah.
Well, because he makes sense as a stopgap is not what Jack Steele is.
I understand what you mean.
But while they're regenerating their list,
Yeah.
to have someone of his stature
Yep.
fill in a hole left by Zach Merrett, I don't think is the worst thing.
No, and he's a highly respected person.
Great
in footy.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. That's not a bad starting midfield, but St Kilda have spent a lot of money to get that sort of midfield.
Yeah, it's true. Yep.
It'd probably be the most highly priced midfield
ever,
almost in the comp.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'd win the first clearance. Anyway, Liam Reedy up against Tom DeConning. That'll be good to watch. You'll enjoy that.
That's nasty.
No, I'm just saying.
That's very nasty.
These big names, though, Zach Merrett, Charlie Curnow, Christian Petracca, Clayton Oliver, it does make it an interesting trade period, doesn't it?
My question, when we get to this stage of the year, every year, my question is always the same. Is there a bolter that no one's talked about that suddenly comes out of left field?
Yep.
There usually is, isn't there?
That's
There's
what
usually someone
that's why
who moves.
we're all looking at our phones occasionally and thinking, did someone just send me a text?
Yeah.
Oh my God, is that true?
Well, I haven't been able to speak to Michael Gleeson today because he's been on his phone the whole time.
I know.
Even when we were coming in here, I couldn't. There was nothing.
No, well, I think there's some big mega trade that
a mega
Michael
trade
was aware of.
Oh boy.
Well, megas. What's in between mega and basic?
A trade.
Yeah. No, multi-club trade.
Big.
Big.
Yeah. Carol always told me not to use one-syllable words.
Really?
Big's probably not huge. That's also.
I use a one-syllable word quite often. It gets me
in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Disappointing word.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Anyway, that's day 2, which hasn't really moved the needle a lot. We need one of those players that is a bolter.
Quick question before we go. In fact, we'll do 2. JG says, Pete, are you surprised with the lack of interest in Stephen May? Good question, JG. What does the future hold for him in 2026, given he still has a year left at the D's?
I'm not surprised.
Okay.
His form at the back half of the year was average at best.
Yes,
it looks
I agree.
like he's lost a yard and he became increasingly frustrated, and he probably wasn't exhibiting the elements of teammanship that you should. So I think clubs are reluctant to actually bring a player into the fold. He's probably 2 years ago would have been an absolute Monty.
Yep.
But now they get him, and Stephen May's been a great player, but you don't want a grumpy player coming in who's generally fairly direct in his feedback, which isn't ideal at times to teammates, without having a good long look at it.
And Kanga asks, what are North Melbourne up to? We've hardly heard from them so far. That is a very fair
they tried to
question.
They tried to get Marcus Windhager. They had a real dip at.
Yep.
They had a dip at Jai Sarong.
Yep.
They've landed Charlie Spargo. They seem to think they can hang on and have no tall backs added to the list.
So this is the bit that just confuses me, and it has for a number of years now. I don't really understand. So their starting backline in round 24 against Adelaide, where they actually played quite well, was Comben, Pink, Logue, Powell, Daniel, O'Sullivan. So their tools there, or their keys, are Charlie Comben, who has showed flashes of really good form.
Yeah, he's okay.
Toby Pink,
in
and out of the VFL the last couple of years.
Yep.
And Griffin Logue.
Griffin Logue,
who's never been a key
very
defender.
critical of Griffin Logue.
I am as well. He's never been a key defender, though.
No.
So I just don't quite...
Well, they're hoping Whitlock comes through.
Whitlock being the player that they
gave up
their first-round pick for in a deal with Richmond during the draft last year, which hasn't aged well, given that's going to end up being pick 3.
No, it's too high for what they would have hoped for, but Whitlock would probably go at pick, 13 or 14 in this year's draft if he was available. He'd be certainly the equal to the best defender, Harry Dean and him, in this year's draft.
Would they have a look at Stephen May for a couple of years?
That is a good question. I don't know that he's the sort of bloke. I think they've been pretty adamant that they don't want to bring too many more older guys into their group, given that they got Luke Parker and they went through the Liam Shields process. They had Jack Darling and those sort of guys.
Yep.
One that could be a bolter is, I'll be interested, I think he'll stay at Collingwood, but Jordan De Goey would be interesting, I reckon.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's not sure I've heard for a while.
No, I'm not sure whether I'm sure he'll be at Collingwood, but I'm not sure that other clubs wouldn't knock on the door and
have a look.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good player, Jordan De Goey.
He's got a couple of years on his contract. He's getting there.
We're all getting there. We're getting slowly but surely towards the end of the trade period. This pod's being released daily. Tomorrow, Andrew Wu and Jake Nile will provide you with all the latest news. Thank you, Pete.
Thanks, Sam. Great to be here with you.
If you've got any questions or suggestions for the pod during trade week, you can email us realfootypod@theage.com.au. Please subscribe, rate and review wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you soon.